And now, making their way into the arena, hailing from the great pro wrestling state of Massachusetts, they are the hosts of the Top of the Cage podcast. Here are Bill and Juice.
One of the greatest triple threat matches that we have ever seen, let alone in TNA history, but all wrestling history, is the one we saw between Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Christopher Daniels. I don't know about you, Juice. Again, I think that's the best triple threat, one of the best that's at least ever existed. And today we are going to pit these three against each other in this week's PJR.
This time they're competing for jobs, but not like, jobber, but, competing to stay in our promotions. I'll kick us off because this one I just knew right off the bat. My push, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. We both are big fans of hosses, and this is a hoss that's deceptively athletic. I think he is just dynamic in them. I mean, everyone thinks he's dynamic on the mic and just one of the best. I think he's top 5 on the mic. His intensity is just unmatched. He's one of my favorite. One of my favorite spots in wrestling is the famous Samoa Joe walkaway. Always pops me. It always gets me going. I know it's coming. I know someone is going to do a flippy or tope suicida, and he's just going to walk off and have that smug look on his face. Samoa Joe, how was he never a WWE World Champion? This is a guy that Tony needs to give the world championship soon. He's getting a great push being a champ. Samoa Joe is, for me, I know AJ, all three of these guys are legends. And AJ Styles, a lot of people consider him, maybe most people consider him better than Joe. I don't. I think it's very close, but I always go Joe. It's never anything I waver on. Joe's my push.
Well, I am one of those people because AJ Styles is going to sit firmly atop of my company because I will never forget watching the 2016 Royal Rumble and it went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. However the fuck his theme music starts. And Roman Reigns had this confused look on his face. And I'm a fucking mark. I follow the dirt sheets. I follow the Reddit, the Twitter, all of that stuff. Everybody was saying AJ Styles might be going to WWE. He's the hottest free agent right now. He's going to WWE. He's going to WWE. Lo and behold, AJ effing Styles walks out and steps foot on WWE ring for the first time, and he locks up with Roman Reigns. How fucking awesome is that? And instantly I was sold. Instantly I was like, again, never watched TNA as a kid. Never really watched too much Impact or New Japan. Was familiar with AJ for his matches with Shinsuke at Wrestle Kingdom. Like that was that first match for me for both of those guys where I was like, okay, I don't know who these guys are, but I need to learn a lot more about them. And yeah, to me, AJ Styles is the phenomenal one for a reason. He is arguably this generation's Shawn Michaels. I think that he needs to have 600 more world titles before he retires because ultimately he's getting close to this. So if AJ Styles were to be in my wrestling company, he would arguably be the world champion, like right off the bat.
That's fair. And AJ coming WWE, that's a moment I watch over, go on YouTube, watch that clip all the time. AJ is, in fact, phenomenal. He is the phenomenal one. I do love him so much. He is a modern day Shawn Michaels. He's, of the three, I think it's pretty easy that he's the best in the ring. And I think it's rare to be a baby face that really connects with the crowd and can be a champ for a long time, but he's just better as a baby face. I mean, I do enjoy him as a heel, but I just think he's better as a baby face, and that's very rare. And definitely a guy who's very worthy of being pushed. I know I said it was easy for Samoa Joe to be pushed, but that's mainly just because I always love a good character that is just dynamite on the mic, and I do think he's just clearly better on the mic than AJ, and that's the only reason I have AJ as my job. Only reason, really, just the mic. That's it, because I know he's gonna give me banger matches. I know that he's of course, he's not a gatekeeper in real life. He's never should be in the mid card. He's a guy who's definitely in wherever he is should be a world champion. But the name of the game is one of these guys has to be a job. One of these guys is not a world champion in our company, even if they should be. And it's a tough choice, but I know that he's going to bring out the best of anyone he wrestles. And of course, kind of like I said with Phoenix, he's going to be a guy that is the best mid-card champion in my promotion's history, hands down. And it doesn't matter who the other guys in the mid-card are.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to put Joe in my job. And that is, I feel like almost like inverse. Like, I just appreciate the in-ring a little bit more. Of course, I'm a fan of big meaty men slapping meat, and Samoa Joe is a meat slapper. That is for sure. And he has some of my favorite meat slap matches that's ever existed. He also has arguably my favorite moment in a promo in WWE history ever, when him, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar were all sharing a ring, and there was a crowd trying to separate, all of them. And Joe was just cutting a promo right in Brock's face. And then Brock looks away and points at Roman and starts talking shit to Roman. And Joe just goes, "Hey, you look at me when I'm talking to you. We can straighten this out right now." Chills. Still get chills thinking about that, because the crowd just was like, whoa. Because in my opinion, that is the moment WWE should have put a title on Joe. Like that right there. He should have beaten Brock Lesnar, my opinion. But in my fictitious company, Joe would be my job. And kind of like what you're saying about Styles, he would be the greatest mid-card champion to ever exist in my company. I feel like I'd use him a little bit how AEW is using him now, where like he is just kind of elevating. He's getting those good wins, elevating everybody around him. But at the end of the day, like he is the dominant mid-card champion. And the only reason why he would never be a main eventer in my company is because that's just not how this game works. And Juice, you and I agreed that we probably were going to have the same release. And it's no hate to the Fallen Angel. CD is one of the greatest wrestlers that doesn't get enough praise in this world. And I feel really bad that we're not giving him the praise, but he is somebody who has deserved all the success he's seen all across all the companies he's been in. I think that in AEW, he has a great role right now. And I would hope that if I were to be the one that released him, he'd go to AEW and continue all these things that he's doing.
His mind for the business is great. He's a guy that can talk and go in the ring. He's not to the level as the other two, obviously, but it'd be a tough release. And I'm always a big fan of him. Honestly, I kind of want AEW to bring him back to do a little more stuff, because I feel like there's more in the tank for him. But I release him. I know that he'll either be wrestling somewhere else, put on pretty great matches and putting over the young talent as he does, or he'd be in the backstage making magic because he's just very knowledgeable. Yeah, there's not really much more to say about CD that you didn't say, that I didn't already say. I'm not gonna get repetitive, but I just Samoa Joe and AJ Styles are Hall of Famers, and well, CD is a Hall of Famer too in my eyes, but just not to the level as the other two.
Now I have a question for you. In terms of TNA originals, because obviously these three are all TNA originals, who would you replace for CD to make this harder for you?
So this might be controversial. I think a lot of people consider CD better than him, but he is actually my all-time favorite TNA Impact wrestler, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Even though I think Samoa Joe is the better wrestler, I still love this man so much, and it's James Storm. I love the Cowboy. I love his music. He is some of my favorite matches of all time. His matches with Rude, like his both tagging with Rude, but also just the famous Texas Death Match. And then he also did it with Wildcat too. James Storm is the man. He is hardcore. Also, he is one of my favorite. TNA loves to kill off people when they go to other companies, and they do. I love how they do it. They just recently did it. Eric Young got murdered on TV. But I love James Storm just pushing Mickey James in front of a train. It's hilarious. He's the man. He's just a hard drinking cowboy. I love my football Cowboys. I love my wrestling Cowboys. It's James Storm. I know people. If I released AJ Styles from my company, people will be like, "What are you doing? You're keeping James Storm instead of AJ Styles?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I love my cowboy. I'm crazy. I know this is a dumbass move, but I don't care."
and you are entitled to your opinion, much like our viewers and listeners are as well. So if you guys have any opinions on this PJR, you can let us know in the comments below, or you can let us know on social media. Juice, where can the people do that?
Yeah, Twitter, capital T, capital O, capital T, capital C, underscore, capital P, lowercase o, lowercase d. Instagram, TOTC, underscore POD.
Yes, and of course, those are also linked down below. And also make sure you are liking, rating, and subscribing to our channel. And of course, we want to thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.